Top list of non-obvious mistakes that affect sales efficiency. Hello everyone, my name is Serhi Hiros. I am a sales expert, and here I have developed my top list of non-obvious mistakes in the sales department. If you want to learn about them right now, then don't switch off this video. The first mistake is the lack of examples and sales samples. What is a sales sample? This is a benchmark recording or a recording of a benchmark meeting made natively, where successful scenarios and steps can be found to teach others. The recording is made not just for inspiration, but so that managers can learn, because it often happens that someone knows how to sell, but cannot convey and teach it. That is, they either cannot convey their own technology and structure or do so abstractly. For example, one of my clients, who sells expensive video production, a complex and creative service, had a very hard time finding a manager who could effectively sell such a service. They tried more than 5 people, but it didn't work. What did we do? I personally listened to about 10 hours of recordings of the owner selling, digitized successful scenarios, broke them down into training structures, trained the first manager, then the second, and then improved the system 3 more times. Next, the second mistake, not obvious in sales departments. This is when bonus grades for different types of clients or products are not considered. In any company, some products are easier to sell than others, or some customer segments only buy competitors' products. Therefore, this should be taken into account in sales and motivation. For example, in many online schools, they pay a percentage for sales. It is also well known that it is easier to sell to hot leads. Warm leads are more difficult, and cold leads are even harder. That is, the company does not take into account how much the client wants to buy, but sets a certain percentage. For example, 5%, and that's it. I'll give you 5% and sell as you wish. Therefore, to increase sales efficiency, you need to consider the complexity of the sale and the client segment, whether cold, warm, or hot. One online school. One of my clients complained that managers are leaving, and it is difficult to find new ones. The audit revealed that the owner demanded sales to both cold and warm leads, and this was not taken into account. As a result, the managers feel that their work is undervalued. Next, the third mistake is not obvious. Having an underdeveloped script. You have a script, but you realize that it is underdeveloped, and you don't understand how to sell natively or by the script, and you can't find this boundary. Most likely, you have already hired an expert, undergone training, but you still don't know where the boundary between nativeness and scripts lies, or you know, but you can't explain it. Therefore, refine your scripts and sales structure for each segment. In 100% of the companies I have worked with, this is a weak spot. Do you have a script? Open it. Try calling the client personally, and you will notice that it doesn't work. Because most likely, you don't have a native sales technology. All the companies I helped with sales had a digitized model of native sales after working with me. Want to be sure? Leave a request for a sales technology demo. I will show you what has already been developed in terms of soft and native sales. Contacts are in the description under the video. The fourth mistake, thinking that negotiation techniques are not important because in your market, everything is decided by the price or quality of the product or your brand or how strong your marketing is. That is, people sometimes neglect the technology of negotiations and sales and prioritize the company's brand or product quality. One of my clients is a distributor, and he has more than 10,000 products in his price list. All these products are of the same quality and price as those of the competitors, only the brand is different. What did we do? I personally closed several clients who were buying from others and ensured that we did not drop our prices. I also trained the sales department to work in the same way. How did I do it? I used a negotiation technology. You can also test it to clearly see the results it provides, even in places where competitors are working and selling at the same price. Next, an even less obvious mistake, which might be hard to admit. Fifth, do you think you understand sales because you know the classic sales scheme? Or do you know the spin selling scheme? Or do you simply have a lot of experience? This is exactly what limits you because you are at the level you are, and you want more. And for more, you need something different, something new, something you might not know. Because more effort doesn't always mean more results. What is the problem with your sales system? Listen carefully. After identifying the need, there is a presentation, and then comes the work with objections. But why present if you expect objections? If you don't present, they won't buy. If you do present, they'll say, "I'll think about it." Therefore, perhaps this scheme from the last century should be questioned. There are now new systems that consist of not 5 steps, but 12, 18, and more. There are simple 3-step systems, and there are new 5-step ones, where there is no presentation. Do you know these schemes? If this sounds complicated to you, you can order a test and feel how simply and coolly it works. Under this video, open the contacts. Write to me on social media with the word test. This will simply blow your mind, I promise, even if you have already taken other courses and have extensive experience. The next mistake, the 6th one, which stems from the previous one, is attributing the reason for insufficient sales to the lack of active managers rather than to the system. You know, there is sometimes the opinion that the system is more important than the people. But sometimes there is no time to build a system. So you hire people, they work without a system, and then they leave. To keep sharp managers in the company, you need technology. Now, a question for you personally. Have you already thought about where to find technology that is cooler than how your manager is currently selling, so you could surprise the manager or show them the next level? The 7th non-obvious mistake. The manager does not know enough about the product. For example, the manager started working at the company for the money. He has superficial knowledge and therefore cannot demonstrate expertise in details during meetings or on the phone. The 8th mistake is very similar to the previous one. There is no system for training managers through testing. So everyone knows that they need to learn, but there is no time to learn. Either they learn incorrectly or they learn during planning sessions. For example, once an owner came to me and said, "Come on, sell. You are great. You can do it. Identify the needs. Here is a new video. Here is new equipment. That's it. Learn. I'm leaving. You work, you learn. I'll check in a week." Well, that's not a training system. That also won't work. The 9th mistake. Managers are not advocates of the product. They are not proud of the product. This happens for 2 reasons. First, the manager has different values. He came to work for money. Either you didn't sell him your vacancy, your job, but sold him money. But what do you have that is more important than money? Maybe the company's mission. Then what is the manager's mission? And who will help synchronize this? Many companies live with such mistakes that you heard earlier. But when the time comes to fire a manager, you have to look for a new one, and the sales department turns into a meat grinder. And for some companies, this is normal. A new manager comes in, gets adapted, works for about 6 months, and then leaves. If you want a manager in the sales department to work for you for years, consider the previous points. The 10th mistake. Your managers earn too much, even more than the company's founders. If you are a manager or founder, you must understand that every job should be compensated accordingly. For example, one of my clients' managers earn more than $15,000 monthly, but the owner experiences difficulties every time something needs to be changed in the manager's work. The 11th mistake is giving admin access to managers. This mistake can cost you significant losses or even your entire business. For example, a manager has your access, decides to quit, and on the way out, takes the client database and deletes everything in your CRM system. As they say, everything is lost. 12. Non-obvious mistake, not paying managers a fixed salary. This is especially relevant for companies with a long deal cycle. The salesperson experiences a lot of instability and stress at work. As a result, he may perform poorly, yell at customers because he is already underpaid. It may seem, well, what's the big deal? There is an employee, and payment is made when he makes a sale. But this hinders your development because a dissatisfied, very hungry salesperson scares away clients and spoils the atmosphere in the team. A fixed rate disciplines and allows you to add the best to the team. The 13th mistake. Your managers are unloading goods. A salesperson should not be engaged in the routine tasks that arise in the office. If you need movers, hire them. If you need plant care, also pay someone else for that. Don't burden your salespeople with extra work. Mistake 14. Managers do not know the business processes. For example, if a manager is calculating an offer for a client, and this offer needs to be approved by the production manager or the team lead, and they do not respond, the salesperson has no idea what to do in such a situation. As a result, they make a mistake and rejects the unapproved proposal because he did not know that in such a case, he could call the owner or someone who knows the answer. And thus, managers may not know their course of action in certain situations because these situations are not described, or the manager did not learn them because there was no certification, no exams. That is, you formulate business processes and invite managers to take exams on business processes, the product, and everything a manager should know. The 15th mistake is hiring employees who do not deliver results and complaining about them. If you have already hired someone, find out why they are not performing well. Maybe the reason lies with you, personally, or maybe he really isn't suitable for you. So why don't you fire him? The 16th mistake. When the owner teaches the manager what he knows himself, he teaches him to sell, find clients, supply, ship, and even pay taxes. And what's wrong with that? The problem is that this same manager opens their own company 6 months later and becomes your competitor. And the 17th and final, most important mistake. It's hiring a manager without empathy. Without delving into emotional intelligence and what empathy is, I'll put it simply. If you feel a little uncomfortable with a person, just feel that something is not right. It is already a sign that the manager lacks empathy. In other words, as a result of empathy, both interlocutors feel good. Empathy is the ability to understand another person's feelings, to feel those feelings, and to synchronize your own feelings and feel the client. Perhaps this is already the highest level of skill, but first of all, check with whom you feel discomfort and think about why you don't have a manager with whom you feel 100% comfortable. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you need a sales consultation, write to us on Telegram or Instagram. The links are in the description below the video.